Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Trigger warning, we're going to be talking a bit about sexuality here, at least from the perspective of a over half-century old cis white male. Now, I was watching Planar Walk the other day. Now, Planar Walk, Planarwalk, you can find his videos real easy on YouTube. He's a science guy, girl, whatever you want to say, because even they say they change their pronouns daily. And they were explaining why they were transitioning. And it offered up a unique bit of insight. You see, one of the first things when people come out and say they're gay, they're bi, they're transsexuals, not me, but other people take a step back and go, oh. The reason that they're doing that is they're thinking, oh my goodness, is this person going to hit on me? Now let's snapshot this moment for a second. First of all, it gives us the insight to a lot of homophobia. You probably have no issue with what people do on their own, and you probably never will. But the phobia comes is because you think the person coming out to you is going to hit on you. That's sheer fucking hubris, to quote a certain Starfleet admiral. What we have to realize is we're not all attracted to the same things. And that's the same whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're bi, pick a color, doesn't matter. I have a friend, and we don't do this habitually. We did it when we were younger, but we don't do it now. Because we got older and more mature and married. And we used to find it interesting that we would both pick women who we were attracted to, picture on the internet, something like that. And I'd be attracted to one, he'd be attracted to a different one. I'm not saying that the women he picked out weren't very beautiful. I just didn't feel that connection with them. There was something about them I didn't find as interesting as he did. And that's the way it is with gay, bi, lesbian, whatever it may be as well. Just because there's a certain orientation doesn't mean they have any interest in you. Of course, if they come up to you and they say, I'm letting you know I'm gay, I'm wondering if you want to have a date sometime, the proper response is, and always has been, I'm flattered, I honestly am, but I'm straight, I'm whatever heck it is you want. But the sheer hubris of all those people out there that think when somebody reveals that they're of a certain way, that means that they're automatically interested in them. And that's what it is. It's arrogance. It's blindness. It's sheer selfishness. But I want to lead into this to more address the second point, which was rape culture. Now, on the one hand, this is something that can definitely be taken too far. However, let's be honest, some people can be creepy. I've seen instant messages, direct messages, emails. You want to take it back to text times. You want to take it back to pager times. And people can be very aggressive. Generally speaking, it's a male. Not 100% of the time. Little self-revelation here. Twice in my life, I have been stalked by women. It was not very fun. One would drive a long distance to hang out at my work and try to catch me leaving so that she could follow me. The other one was in school, and again, she would follow me around. Now, these weren't bad people, but they just weren't people I wanted to be around for various reasons. They were attracted to me, I wasn't attracted to them. That's all the story that we need to know. And eventually, I like to think I'm good luck because after that they found their significant others and got together for the rest of their lives, at least as far as I know. The one of whom I know is still happy to this day. The other one, I'm not 100% sure. But take this, in my limited perspective, from a female perspective. Guys generally are oversized in relation to the females of our species. And that leaves females open to a bunch of abuse. So when some 6'3" guy like me comes up to a 4'10" woman, and I've met 4'10" women, they have two choices. Either the stars align that day and it just so happens we're compatible and she's receptive and we go off for the rest of our lives, or I'm an intimidating guy. I don't want to be intimidating. I don't need to be intimidating. But that 4'10" girl has no way of knowing that. So let's pretend it's in university. She knows she's going to see me every Tuesday. And she knows I was interested and she turned me down. Maybe her other experiences have taught her some guys are not that nice. Now she's worried about me. Whereas before she felt like she could trust me. Now she knows that she clicks with me more than I click with her. It's not a lot of fun for anybody. And unfortunately, in a woman's life, no matter what their sexual preference is, unfortunately, bad things can happen. And that's how I'm going to put it. I've already sworn in this video, so I don't know why I'm censoring this topic. I think it's because of my own discomfort with it. And the fact that I have a couple daughters, and yeah, that's probably what's making me uncomfortable. But you can see, if it's making a 6'3" monster like me upset, can you imagine what it does to a female? They can go and learn karate and stuff like that, but hand to hand is not really the most useful thing in the world. I do praise people who learn it. I admire the time they put into it, but it's just not one of those useful things. Most fights, you ever been sitting in a bar on a Friday night, or you ever been watching a real match, like two guys going at it, not MMA or something like that? Most fights are over in like 10 seconds. It's not like we see in the movies where, you got Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee sparring for minutes at a time. No. One idiot drunk lands the right punch on the other idiot's chin. It's one guy's down, fight's over. At least it should be over. That's where it should end. It doesn't always work that way. We'll worry about that another time. So learning self-defense, physical self-defense, is one thing women need to do, and women do need help. For a long time, gay people have hung around women because women are more accepting of gay guys. There's a simple reason. They don't feel as threatened by them. Just like the same thing, if I walk into a university class right now and I announce I'm interested in one person in the classroom, everyone's going to say, well, what did I do to this guy? What's going on here? I like to play a game once in a while which suggests I'm going to interrogate people. Come into my office. Now, my usual habit is come into my office. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. And just by leaving that off, I can get a whole lot of information out of people. It's that simple. And the funny part to me is people still fall for it. But you see, the first thing people do in life is they automatically assume it's about themselves. And that's a habit we have to break as human beings to move forward in a healthy way. Somebody else's sexuality does not reflect on your own. Again, even if they ask you out on a date, you still have the free will to say, no, thank you. I think you're a swell person and I'd still like to be friends, but I don't swing the same branch as you do. If we would start doing that instead of mobbing them and hurting them and all the stupid crap that we do today, we'd live in a lovely society indeed. So, basically put, don't self-identify on everything somebody puts out there on the internet, in person, at your job. It's probably not about you. Again, people's tastes are so different. I'll never be able to tell whether somebody is interested in me or not. I'll walk right by them unless they say, hey, I, true story. I had a female friend come up to me and she sat me down. And this woman, actually, she's almost 8 years older than I am. We've been friends for decades. And we sat in a coffee bar and she said, I want to know if you're attracted to me. Well, if you want the truth, she is attractive. But I know she has a husband and I think of her as a friend. But she had gotten in her head, whether through a dream or something I might have said or whatever, that I was more interested in her than she was willing to put up with in her life. We had a good laugh about it at the end, but again, she assumed things were about her. They weren't, and I was probably doing something silly at the time I said it. So we need to start giving people space. Now, again, remember, what happens in their bedrooms, their houses, does not affect you. Whatever happens between two consulting adults, go ahead. When they bring in the livestock and other things, yeah, you might want to have a chat with them, but most of the time, that's what it is. It's a couple consenting adults. I don't really have a problem with more than two. I think it's being greedy, but that's the way some people roll. Let's start accepting these people, because all we're going to do by pushing them underground is give ourselves a harder time. Look at how many marriages happen just because the bride and the groom were both differently sexually. I don't know how to describe that, but they're both different sexually. One might be gay, one might be lesbian, whatever it was. But they married because they didn't want to deal with anybody else, and it was a marriage of convenience. That still happens today, especially in countries where they start claiming that people that are gay do not exist, like Russia. Letting them go is not a gateway drug. Recognizing the 2S LGBTQ plus community is not a slippery slope. When you go to the pub and you start drinking beer, yes, some people are going to, they're going to be doing tequila bombs by the end of the night, but that doesn't mean everybody's going to slip from beer to tequila. It just simply means that the people there are having a beer. Same with drugs. Most people have marijuana, maybe some shrooms, and say, yep, that's as deep in the pool as I'm going to put my toe. That's it. Others go on, cocaine, meth, all that sort of stuff. Well, sexuality is the same way. There's plenty of asexuals out there. There's plenty of, how should we say this? There's plenty of people that are on a slightly different spectrum. Furries, for example, where they're attracted to, not all of them, but some are attracted to animal shapes. Nothing wrong with that if you got somebody else that's into the same thing. I'm not going to discuss gifting or anything like that here. I'm just saying I know it's a group that exists that a lot of people would find repulsive, but realistically, is it hurting anybody? So that's what I want to leave you with. If somebody says they're of a certain orientation, it 99% of the time has nothing to do with you and never did. As a matter of fact, they're showing you a great courtesy by letting you in on it. There's a heavy burden put on you when somebody shares that with you. They're showing them their vulnerability. And secondly, you can't imply much other than what people tell you. So with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share. Don't forget to comment down below. If you can see the bell icon, it's not on. Please light it up now, because that way you'll get notifications every time a new video is published. And we hope you have a fantastic day.